organization. Food bank was founded in 1982 in Latham. There's a need, right? So there's 23 counties that we support organization in regional food bank. We go from the Canadian border down to Rockland County. So it's a really large territory, nearly 41% of land mass of New York. In our Hudson Valley, there's a larger need. So back in the early 1990s, there was the food bank of the Hudson Valley was formed. It's another location for the regional food bank to be able to disperse food. We couldn't be grateful enough and thankful enough for the families that supported that. The organization that we're in today and the location we're in today in Cornwall, the Hudson, was a donated building that's allowed us to do so much of the great work for the last 25 years. Unfortunately, with the need around us, we outgrew that building probably 10 to 12 years ago. We just literally don't have the space, right? It's not a true warehouse. You look here, I have a 40-foot high ceiling of a 5-high rack system. There we maybe had what you would have in your house, 10, 12 foot. We can't really rack it. My volunteers have walked through that and they shake their head like, yep, we know. So it's going to be a monumental shift for us. Our volume of food that we distribute organizationally is nearly 50 million pounds of food annually. 20 million of those pounds are right here in our 6 counties in the Hudson Valley. Unfortunately, based off of our restraints in Cornwall, 12 million pounds never touch our facility down here. We literally take tractor trailers down to deliver that 12 million pounds of food. This building will fix that, allow us to expand, and allow us to continue to serve our neighbors in need at a deeper level, really closing down the meal gap that we have. So when I say this is a 30, 50, 100-year investment, it truly is. You think about when you buy a house with a 30-year mortgage, that's what this building will do for us. Not only will it help us here in the Hudson Valley, but if you think about all the time, effort, fuel, trucks, staff, to bring down 12 million pounds of food over the course of a year, year after year, we can also look at other parts of our territory throughout our full 23 counties. Sure, we support that building. So that's a little bit of the history. Where we're standing though, this is going to be our distribution area. So if you've been to our current Cornwall facility, I currently have 1 overhead door. I have 4 here, right? So we talk about that volume going up. We want this to be a great experience. When our tractor trailers come down today, we meet at a common parking lot. It could be a Runnings parking lot, a Walmart parking lot, a common ground. And we're literally offloading off the back of a tractor trailer. It's not the best experience, right, for our agencies to be able to get the food to the neighbors in need. Here we can pull up. We have 4 overhead doors. So all of our volunteers have the ability, all of our agencies have the ability to come in, to be able to pick up their goods, what they ordered. But in addition, one of the pictures behind us here has a cooler. There's going to be a cooler stage over here. So we can add to those orders, those needed items. Maybe I had a distribution last night and I had 10 extra families I didn't think I was going to have. So I need to add some fresh fruits and vegetables. We can do that. We've learned from some of our challenges in our current facility up in Latham. If you've ever been there, our ramp is like on a 50-degree angle. It's really tough. It's hard. So that's why Matt and his team have really done a great job making sure it's nice and level. There'll be an awning that's going over the top so that inclement weather. If it's snowing, it's raining, our agencies can have their time to load the vehicles appropriately, care for the food appropriately, and get it back to their facilities so that we can get to neighbors. Through these doors, you can notice the levelers are all vertical, very intentional. That helps us keep us sealed out from the outside. It allows us to have that really great, safe buildings for storing food and having food in and out of our facility. It really seals us off. So everything's electronic. These will go down in the doors, the locks in the tractor trailers, keeps our team safe. But we have 7 of these overhead doors for our freight to allow to flow in. Current day in our facility, if you've been to that parking lot, you have to jackknife the tractor trailers. We only bring in 1 or 2 a week. Snap forward, right? So modern day, most all the food, about 85%, comes into Latham. So in addition to doing the deliveries of 12 million pounds of food, we restock Cornwall, our current facility, from Latham. So if I have a tractor trailer load of USDA peanut butter, that whole tractor trailer load goes to our Latham facility, and then on a transfer truck, we bring down 1 or 2 or 3 pallets, along with other pallets. So not the most ideal. Future forward, we open this building, I can have a full tractor trailer load in Latham and a full tractor trailer load here. So we're really right sizes and makes us a lot more efficient. So as you imagine, we have 7 receiving doors. In our current facility, we have 2. And they're not nearly as nice and updated. So this will be monumental to us. In addition, we know that we are leaving opportunities on the floor. And what I mean by that, there's farmers that are calling us and saying, hey, can you take bins of apples? Can you take this zucchini? And there's moments in time where we don't have enough room in our current facility. Do everything to take as much as we can. We're hauling out to Latham. We're even sharing it with partner food banks and friends and neighbors out there in our organization network. But we, no offense, want to be a little bit greedy. Take it for ourselves, take it for our neighbors in need. Support our great donors in this area. Having this will allow us to never say no and to be able to bring all that fresh fruits and vegetables as well as any of the other goods into our facility. Exciting stuff. So you're at a moment where 2 or 3 weeks ago, even just last week, this racking wasn't here, so we're starting to see it go up. So what does that mean? So if you walk through our current facility, again, I saw a lot of head shakes from our volunteers that have been in Cornwall, walk through the facility. There is one very small room. This is probably smaller than the size of this receiving dock that even has racking at all. And it's only 3 high, 4 plus 2, right? If we look, I'm going to be a 5 high rack system. We have over 10,000 square foot of dry storage. That's the equivalent of over about 1,200 pallets of goods that we're going to be able to keep on hand at any one time. Now, remember, we're a food bank. Oftentimes you hear warehouse. I don't like it like distribution center. We're not storing food. Our goal is to have it in, to have it out. So we want to bring food in and get it back out to those in need as timely as possible. However, there's a great ability when you can bring a full tractor trailer load for purchasing power, for the ability to say yes to a donor. Just maybe 3 weeks ago, we had an offer of 17 tractor trailer loads of soup. 17 tractor trailer loads of soup. We do everything again we can to say, yes, let's take that, let's get it in. So we do need those moments of time where we just store for a little while we get out to the neighbors. This gives us the ability to do that we don't have today in our current facility. Organization that it's not just about those that we serve, and it's also about our team, right? We have to have a great working environment for our staff. We have to be a staff that's able to recruit and retain those folks and keep all of our staff happy to make sure that they're doing all the work that we need. 50 million pounds of food is a lot of work to distribute annually, and we see that going up. That needs going up. So again, to retain our staff, we've learned some things. You came to our office in Latham right now. All the walls with the windows are offices. Not necessarily the best feeling for somebody that might be out in the main area in a cubicle, very little natural light. We flipped that script here. So if you look through here, those windows, we see really nice and long, are going to be beautiful and open. All that light shines through to open office area where the majority of our staff sits. And then offices along the interior wall with glass, so it's still some light come in. But to have a great working environment for our staff and our community and those that come in, that was a small takeaway, but I'm so impactful. I think that's a very large takeaway. Make sure we have a great place to work for our staff as well. So let's go upstairs and see a little bit more about that community impact. What we're going to call the catwalk. So as I described, downstairs, primarily going to be offices for our staff, open seating area for our staff. That's where a lot of the work's going to happen. But in addition, this is a community that supports this. This doesn't happen without great donor partners, without great volunteers. And we're going to be open for our community to come here and have an event, to come here and utilize our space, to come here and be a part of our family, quite frankly. So we have a large network of our partner agencies, nearly 1,000 throughout our 23 counties that we help get food to so they can get to neighbors in need, in addition to our direct distribution model. So what that means is sometimes we have to do a food safety training. Here's a great place to do it. Modern day in the Hudson Valley, we don't have that position to be able to do that, to bring together our community and do good training to understand and keep that food safe all the way through. Or maybe how to take this 10-pound bag of a product and how do we package that down appropriately to neighbor side friendly product. That can be done here. So behind us, we're going to have some conference and training centers. We'll have a large demonstration kitchen for things like that, packaging, or how to maybe prep food and pair different items that become available. Nearly 50% of our inventory is all donated. Means we open up a trailer door, we don't know what's in it until it shows up. Operating a distribution center in that model is extremely challenging. So anybody that's been around food banking can kind of understand that. You open up your trailer door and that's when you find out what you have. sometimes we have to kind of sell that on the other end. Hey, guess what? We have bags and bags of almonds. How do almonds go? What can we do with almonds? Can they be mixed in a salad? This training kitchen allows us to sell that to our agencies who can ultimately inform and help our neighbors eat. The catwalk was designed in something that we thought was very important because this operation doesn't stop behind the wall. Quite often, food banks that bring in representatives from the community, donor partners, and that's where it stops. It stops in an office. In my opinion, all the magic happens out there, right? So modern day in Latham, I have to walk you through our facility. Carol and I did it yesterday in Latham. We go through a facility, a lot more safe than one would think, but you have large forklifts running around every single day. You're in production, so the ability to bring folks from our community in and be able to see that action right from here in that safe spot really helps and is super impactful. So maybe if somebody is thinking about donating, doesn't understand where it goes, we can bring them in, have a conversation, come out and really see all that magic that happens out here. So we're very fortunate to be able to have this. This was a design from a few different food banks around the country. When this building was being designed, things were thought of in that nature. But we are currently standing in what will become our new refrigerated space, and then behind us our freezer space. So I say that you notice this freezer door does not open up to ambient air out in the warehouse. Again, very intentional. So a lot of thought went into this building. Some of the challenges that we have seen in other food banks, including our own in Latham, as well as our Cornwall facility. So our Cornwall facility floor space is about maybe a quarter of this space that we're here right now, and it is floor stack only. So we stand in right here about a 4,000 square foot cooler that, again, all that racking is going to come in and be put up at 5 high. So that's going to more than quadruple the amount of refrigerated goods that we're able to keep in our building. So absolutely phenomenal. I say a lot of that too, right? So food banking used to be a pretty well 30, 40 years ago. Dented cans of soup, broken open boxes. Not anymore. It's all about quality as well. So we want healthy, nutritious goods going to our neighbors in need. We want to make sure that this sustainable foods that are healthy for them and not going to create longer term health problems. So when we look at what we distribute, over 82% of our food is already in the healthy plate category, in the meal plate for USDA. Of that, 42% is fruits and vegetables. We want to drive that number and continue to drive that number up. By having space like this, it'll really allow us to do that. Behind me, though, I started to mention is our freezer. So we'll have a large 5,000 square foot freezer, but you enter the cooler to enter the freezer. So this box will be held at a range of 36 to 38 degrees for our standard. And then the box next to us will target -10. So if you can imagine that -10 opening to ambient air at 70 degrees in the summer out in the warehouse, that's a large hit on that refrigeration system. Now we let it open to 36. It actually helps both boxes and allows our system to run a lot more effectively. If you peek up, we actually have a very industrial system. Happy to report that is a CO2 refrigerated system. So what that means, we're going to be running off of carbon dioxide. Very industry leading, very heavily robust system that's going to allow this size of refrigeration. A lot more environmentally friendly than the old school Freon. If we can remember back to our old refrigerators, people pop lines before they bring them to the dump. That's not great for our environment. So we also think about sustainability and how we can be better for our environment. This is one of the pieces there as well. In addition to that, there's an entire glycol system underneath that freezer floor. So if anybody's a hockey player like myself, and I love it, and I'd love to skate in there, probably not the safest thing for our team. So to keep our floors nice and safe for our staff, we need to heat underneath. We're heating underneath as well as heating our entire warehouse with the waste heat that's produced off of this system. So this system will actually, in any refrigeration system would, produce a waste heat. We're capturing that waste heat, heating under our floors, so there's no extra cost. And additionally, going to have the ability to heat our entire warehouse for just that waste heat rather than let it out into the environment. So that was a really big win that we were able to work into the system. So it's just a freezer, again, extension of what we just saw. If you take a peek down the far end, that's a couple pieces of our power equipment. I know I have some power equipment vendors in the room, and it's, I think, 3 or 4 different vendors had some of the contracts to be able to sell some of the equipment down there. But as we mentioned, we're going to be taking tractor trailer loads of goods. That meant our equipment had to flip. Modern day in Cornwall, we don't really do that. So we needed 2 counterbalance lifts to be able to do that. We're going to have end riders for our staff to be able to pull throughout the facility. And we have reach lifts actually landing hopefully the end of the month. So really exciting to see all that power equipment starting to show up. We see our batteries, our chargers starting to show up. So it's all becoming a reality to be able how to turn the operation on in this facility. All right, we're going to keep moving.
My favorite.
Always happy place.
This just happens to be the volunteer room. Bingo, you got it. This is, in fact, our new volunteer space. So I am excited to watch it continue to grow, and you will have all this room. It's all yours. It's yours. It's so
color.
You like the color?
Yep.
Go right in.
Well, all's for coming.
Decide that we go right
So as Ellie mentioned, she's thrilled. So if you all don't know Ellie, Ellie's our director of volunteer services. Works side by side with me, and through thick and thin, we have great times. But organizationally, I joke, Ellie does a phenomenal job, as does her entire team, of cultivating volunteers. Organizationally, what that means for us is over 20,000 volunteers a year. Say that number again, 20,000 volunteers a year for our organization. Just do really broad numbers, it's roughly 10,000 at Latham, roughly 5,000 at our farm. We do operate a 160-acre farm, so if you ever want to pick cabbage, please join us. And we about 5,000 at our current Cornwall facility. We know that this facility right here can obviously house more, right? It's larger, it's bigger. We're going to rescue more food. We're going to leave less out there from our donor partners. We're going to be able to bring more in, a lot larger sorting space. We anticipate more than 4 million additional pounds just right here in this room alone. But that doesn't happen without volunteerism. So we need to flip a number and double our volunteerism. So we're going to put the ask out there. I know there's a lot of friendly volunteers with us today. So hopefully you make the transition with us over this new, beautiful space. And then we thought about you as well as we were in it, right? So modern day today in Cornwall, we have to walk through the facility. That was the same thing in Latham when Ellie and I, when I came on board 3 years ago, we brought volunteers right through the warehouse. Frankly, they're actively working on an active dock where we have cardboard baling going on and powered equipment, not necessarily safe. So up there we did a redesign, and this building was redesigned with volunteers in mind. There's an exterior entrance right there with its own parking area. Able to walk into a safe space away from all our powered equipment, but to still be able to be such a vital role to us to help us sort food, package food, inspect food, get it ready to go out to all of our neighbors to feed. As I mentioned, this room right here will do an additional 4 million pounds, if not more, through an additional probably 10,000 volunteers. So we're so excited about it. Also in the back, there's a small break room. We have volunteers with us that love to stay all day. Ellie loves to stay all day too, but the shifts don't run all day long. We do a couple hours in the morning, then a little break, a reset. Maybe we started with frozen food and we flip over to dry food. We need that reset. But there's a break room to have a coffee, to enjoy, to take a phone call. All of our volunteers have lives as well, so we recognize that. We want a nice, safe spot to be able to do that while still giving your time. There's a restroom that's right there. So no longer need to walk through the entire facility. So that restroom is super available. In addition to being available for our volunteers, we didn't notice on the other side for our distribution area, it's also available to our agencies. That's a shared space. Our agencies that come in and pick up are also volunteers. 99% of our agencies are run 100% on volunteerism. So they're all volunteers as well, just in different capacities for different organizations. They're helping support our mission collectively together. Somebody mentioned color, and I think we all recognize we have branded color helmets on, hard hats on. It's now Regional Food Bank Hudson Valley got dropped off. We are the regional food bank, no longer of Northeastern New York and the Hudson Valley. We're the regional food bank with 2 distribution centers supporting 23 counties collectively, as we always have, but really intentional around that and infusing that brand throughout. I think if anybody was here for the local parade right in town, we have one of our brand new branded trucks. So out there, it's old truck, but we just rebranded it with the colors that really shout our mission of all those great things we're doing. All that happens, and it's happening coinciding with this building. 2-3 years ago, our board, myself, and our leadership team, and a consultant got together, did a large 5-year strategic plan. The overarching goal of that 5-year strategic plan is to close down meal gaps in our 23 counties, every single one of them. We have to take those meal gaps. They're all different. Every county's different. Every community's different. It's going to be done differently each place. And this is one of the largest pillars, this building that we stand in, to make that a reality. Without this building, quite frankly, I don't know if our organization, our operations could actually do it, right? I told you earlier on this walk, 12 million pounds of food today come to the 6 counties in the Hudson Valley that never touch our current building. That is not very effective operations. By us flipping that, turning this building live, and having 12 million extra pounds flow through here and handling the current 20 million and growing it more, we're going to serve our neighbors in a much better way than we ever have before. But again, we can't do it without all the partners, volunteers, everybody in this room, everybody that showed up for this tour. Awesome. Site, so Matt Baxter, our general contractor, and just all the different staff that's on site. Super appreciative of them allowing us to do these. And we're working in, obviously, lunch break and end of day, so we can actually hear ourselves. If you all were with us 10 minutes prior to that, it gets loud in there. So that's why we're just doing Q&A out here. Hopefully those stops were informational. But yeah, we'll open up to the group if there's anything out there. Please, don't be shy. If I don't know the answer, I'll find you the answer. Or I'll point to somebody else.
What's the goal for opening?
It's an ever-moving goal, but Matt promises me he's going to turn this building over to me in November. Our goal has always been, it started earlier, right, with construction things happen. But it's always been late fall. It still stands to be late fall, so hopefully in November. But again, that's building to the regional food bank. That's the building to us. We have to stock it. We don't see any food in there, right? So we have to do all that uplift to get it up and rolling out, ready for our neighbors. Great question. It's $1 million question, by the way. Hopefully I answered it well. What other questions do we have? So raise the hands. Who in this group, I think a lot, have volunteered with us in Cornwall? Wonderful. Thank you. What do you think about your new space? All right. I like it.
I need more volunteers for Cornwall.
Yeah.
I think I saw a lot of hands nod up there going to join as volunteers. So, but I say that right. So there's a lot of different ways the food bank can be supported. It can be supported through our vendors and people that we just do business with. It can be supported through volunteerism. Obviously, financial donations. A large building like this, there are a lot of large naming opportunities too. We're so fortunate to be in this area. We had a big capital campaign. It's out in the public phase now, where we went to a lot of the large foundations and big supporters in the area. And it was a very successful campaign. But you got to remember, when you're building a building of this capacity in the 20 millions of dollars, it's a lot to start and get off the ground for a nonprofit organization. So every little bit helps, whatever's comfortable for folks. So if you know folks out in the neighborhood that want to support, there's definitely ways to do that. We can connect you to the right people in the group.
And the labor force here, Baxter Construction, we're out of Dutchess County. We have homes in Dutchess and Orange, but all the labor force around here is from the counties that you service, the 5 or 6 counties. They are 90% union. And then the other ones who are specialty, they are here as well. So the workforce is everyone that you know or you've seen.
Great point. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you all.